Aloha and welcome back to Studio 22K. Today I'm going to make a a Kapa Ka'i ring. Kapa Ka'i in Hawaii means uneven or unsteady. And to me, relationships are always uneven and unsteady and they're always changing. So this is a wedding band and it will be uneven and Kapa Ka'i. So I've already started. I've already melted down my gold and put it into an ingot form that I then manipulated the gold to make it uneven. And now I'm just shaping it a little bit more. So before I can shape it, it's super hard. Most people think gold is soft, but it is quite hard. And I have to heat it up before we can do the next step. So I'm gonna heat this up on my soldering block. I'm gonna get it to the annealing stage. And you'll know when it's there, when it has like a little red glow, orange glow to the whole piece. So we're not melting it, we're just annealing it. Annealing actually separates the molecules so the metal can be bent more easily. You see how now it's changing color? That's it, that's as far as we're going to go. Any further and we would have melted it. And now we're just going to throw it into some hot pickle. And we're going to wait for that to clean itself off a little bit. Then here. So I could let this sit longer and it would get cleaner, but it doesn't really matter because we're going to continue. We're going to just rinse that off with some water and dry it off with a little piece of paper towel. And then we'll start to shape it as a ring. So now that we have taken this out of the pickle, it will be a little bit more malleable. It's still not finger soft, like you can't take your hands and really bend it, but it is softer than if we had worked it already. So we're putting it on our mandrel, taking it over here. Metal on metal just helps to shape it better. If I were to do this on wood, I wouldn't get very far. I mean, I could still shape it, but it wouldn't really move all the metal, where here it does. So I'm gonna take my rounded part, because I like the hammered marks, and I'm just gonna start to shape it. And it's gonna be a bigger ring, so I'm gonna kind of move this down a little bit. First I'll take that flatter part of my hammer, move it down until it's almost connected. There. Now, it's still open a little bit, but what I'm going to do now is file off my edges so I get a nice clean connection. Then I'm going to fuse it, and then I'll continue. But now it's very, very hard, even harder than it was a moment ago, and I need to soften it. I need to anneal it again. So this time, I'm going to anneal it in the kiln. And the reason being is the kiln is going to heat it more evenly rather than my torch. And that way I get a nice shape when I do the next process. So it is out of the pickle and it does have fire scale on it. And I did not let it sit long enough to get rid of the fire scale, but it doesn't matter because we're still working the piece. But now that it's out of the pickle, it's going to be more malleable and easier for me to bend. I still need to use pliers to bend it. And I'm going to bend it. As you can see, I'm putting quite enough force on that, just enough that I can file. So now what I'm going to do is file two flat sides and put the piece back together. So now we're done with filing it, and now we're going to make a connection between the two sides. In order for me to fuse this ring together, I'm going to need to connect it. Oops, everybody talks about soft gold. This is so not soft. Okay, I'm gonna actually have to hammer this. In order for me to fuse the metal, I have to get the two sides to connect exactly. So I'm gonna get it close, which it is right now, and I'm gonna have to heat it up again so that I can move it back this way. So now I have joined the two sides together. Not so much perfectly, but they do touch. And that's what's the most important part. And this ring will be an uneven ring, so I actually want it not touching in every spot. I am going to fuse this together. So what I'm gonna do, just to show you, is kind of turn it on its side. It makes it a little easier to fuse. So we are now going to heat this up to just the right temperature where the two pieces of metal, the two sides rather, are going to join together. Too much heat and the whole thing will melt, and too little heat and it won't actually stay together. I don't like to rush the process because I don't want to melt it in any unwanted area. And we're almost there. You can actually see it. It looks like a line that's connected right in the middle. I'm just going to turn it sideways now. I just want to make sure that I get that connection that I want. And I will actually melt it slightly right there. There we go. So now I'm actually going to start to shape it. And this mandrel I do all my hand hammering on. I have another mandrel here where I'm going to size it. And I have an even more fine mandrel that I do my sizing on at the end. So I'm just going to put it back on my mandrel. And first I'm just going to try and get it a little bit more round. If you notice, I still have the line, but as I heat this up and hammer it and forge it and shape it, that line's going to totally disappear. Da 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 da, da 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 da. What do we have here? Okay, so that doesn't really look like gold to you, right? Like the normal gold that you're used to looking at, but wait and see. Follow me this way. So it's a little bit matte looking right now. Get out our little trusty wheels. And voila, big ring, big finger. Probably need a guy to wear that one.